Keeping venomous reptiles is an unforgiving hobby, requiring proper training and lots of experience. One simple mistake can be the difference between life and death. Remember, the most venomous snake in the world is the one that just bit you. There are no venomous snakes with training wheels. Just because you see viperkeeper handle snakes a certain way does not mean you should try it too.
Well, surprise, surprise. We opened the leucogaster cage, and look what we found.
They weren't there yesterday, so they were freshly laid during the night, so we were going to recover them and get them in the incubator. Oh, I want that to happen.
Look at that. That's awesome.
Space them out. Let me look.
Yep.
Make sure there are no others. Oh yeah, there's more. Hello, just your friendly neighborhood egg thief. Normally I would wear gloves not to contaminate any of these ova. Sorry.
Nice job.
Well, let's see, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I thought she was rather gravid. So hopefully these plump up since they've been exposed to the atmosphere a little bit. But you know, these are snakes that lay eggs in very dry places. So I am going to, I've got the incubator fired up. The substrate, which is the normal vermiculite, is wet and such. So let's get them in where they can. Let me snap a picture for instant publication because this video may not come out for a few weeks unless I preempt other videos. So they're got the incubator all fired up. I imagine that these will incubate for the same temperature and length of time that other Echis eggs have incubated. I will put a thermometer in there to measure and make sure I've got a record of temperature and humidity, and when they get close to like 40 days or so, we will put a nice piece of cloth over top so we don't have any unpleasant surprises sitting on top of the lid of the incubator. Wow, that's fantastic. Well, Elvis's light is out again. And who do we have to thank about this? The people at ZooMed who make these expensive but ridiculously cheap and short-lasting basking spotlight, which I use in many of my cages. I don't have a suitable alternative. Wouldn't have a problem spending, you know, $6 or $8 a bulb if they lasted for months. but they don't. So here I am in my protective gear. The safest way to work with Elvis is to occupy his mouth. He got fed yesterday, so this is an extra. No, you know, he looks at that cord over there and thinks it's a snake. So I sort of have to hide that from him. But the best thing to do is to occupy his mouth, which will allow me to gain access to his cage to change the light bulb. I know. I'm not happy about this either. Right now my lower legs are exposed. Hand me the light bulb up there, please. Which I don't like, but since his mouth is occupied, that should make him happy. I'll take the camera and go down and visit him, which will make him unhappy. But everybody keeps asking about Elvis. Yes, Elvis is still here. Elvis is actually looking healthier. You can start to see the ridge on his back because I've cut down on his feeding. Normally he gets one large rat a week. Because of his relative inactivity and unfortunately small space that he occupies, he doesn't get much exercise, so we don't want him becoming obese. So a year or more back, I cut his food ration in half, and that has helped him physically, but mentally it's made him hangry, which is a very difficult thing to deal with. So we're going to get out of his face now and let him enjoy his special treat today, because ZoomEd fails to make quality light bulbs. The Siamese Peninsular Pit Viper is very, very eager, and that's why we open cages with hooks and not our hands. Is this, oh, all right, there you go. I was wondering if it was going to be of a reasonable temperature to attract your attention, but I see that it didn't matter. Just your garden variety of Trimenosaurus. Well, it wasn't Trimenosaurus, it's now in Pokea. They found it, they decided that it had enough distinct DNA that they give it and put it in a different group. Trimenosaurus phylogenetically is mostly like the junk drawer, where you put lots of different things that you don't have places for. There's a lot of snakes that go into Trimenosaurus, only to be moved about, and then eventually some of them find their way back into Trimenosaurus. It's a, that's the way science is. A paper is presented, and the scientific nomenclature board says, yeah, okay, we think this is a good idea right now, so they move a snake into a particular genus, or declare it as a self-standing species. And then a few years later, somebody else presents a paper that provides more evidence that maybe it doesn't belong there, so they move it back to some other genus. But this is the way science works. Science is not a thing that, very few things are called definite and will never ever change. This is the final answer sort of an idea. Science is ever evolving and changing depending on evidence that's found and described and reviewed by their people's peers, and then it becomes so. Mr. Kazakanovi, you look very interested in that, don't you? He's a spazo snake. Really have to be careful with him because he will try to levitate and come out of the cage. All right, look. I'll trade you. There you go. It really is a shame that he's lost most of his orange stripes and stuff. Lori will agree with me that when he was a much younger snake, he had just absolutely gorgeous orange pattern. You can see the remnants of his down his back, but it was certainly much more striking than he is now. Now he's just striking in a different sense. He's spazzo and attacks you, and actually sometimes he gets a little butthurt and goes huffing and puffing to the rear of the cage, which is quite amusing, but he is driven by his stomach, so he's always willing to take something to eat. So let's gently try to manipulate him to a place where he can enjoy that, and we'll shut the door and move on to our next one.